Two incomes should make life easier. So why does it feel like you're still stuck? Not poor, not struggling, but tight. Always tight. Money comes in, bills go out, and somehow, nothing really changes. You upgrade your life, but your life doesn't feel upgraded. It feels heavier, more pressure, more responsibility, less breathing room. And here's the part nobody tells you. The problem isn't how much you earn, it's how your life is built. And once you see this, you won't be able to unsee it. There's a version of life most people are chasing. Wake up. Go to work. Build your career. Find someone doing the same. Now there are two incomes. Two people moving forward. Two people building something together. On paper, it looks perfect. More money. More stability. More opportunity. That's the promise. And at first, it feels real. You move into a better place. You upgrade your lifestyle. You feel like you're finally stepping into the life you worked for. But something starts to shift. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly. Your expenses grow. Your time shrinks. Your flexibility disappears. And one day, you look at your life and think, we should be doing better than this. But you're not. And that confusion, that gap between what should be and what is, that's where the trap begins. Daniel and Sarah didn't make bad decisions. That's what makes this dangerous. They made smart ones. Daniel worked his way up. Long hours. Late nights. He earned his promotion. Sarah had stepped back for a while. Then she returned to work. Another income. More stability. More control. That's what they thought. At first, it felt like progress. Finally, they weren't just surviving. They were moving forward. So they made changes. Nothing extreme. Just logical upgrades. A better house. Closer to schools. Safer neighborhood. A second car. Because commuting got harder. Childcare. Because now both of them worked. Then smaller things. Food delivery. Cleaning help. Convenience. Not luxury. Efficiency. At least that's how it felt. Individually, every decision made sense. But together, they changed the entire structure of their life. Because, slowly, without noticing, their life stopped being flexible and started becoming expensive to maintain. Upgrades don't feel dangerous. They feel deserved. You worked for this. You earned this. And that's true. But here's the part nobody warns you about. Upgrades don't stay optional. They become permanent. You don't move into a bigger house and then casually move back. You don't adjust upward and then comfortably step down. What starts as a reward becomes your new normal. And once something feels normal, you stop questioning it. You start protecting it. Daniel didn't think of the house as an upgrade anymore. It was just home. The car wasn't a luxury, it was necessary. Childcare wasn't optional, it was required. And that's how the shift happens. Quietly. You stop building your life and start maintaining it. Most people think they have a spending problem. They don't. They have a structure problem. Because small spending is flexible. You can cut it, ignore it, adjust it. But fixed costs, they don't move. Mortgage, car payments, insurance, childcare, utilities. These are not decisions you revisit every week. These are commitments. And commitments create pressure. Daniel noticed something one month. Nothing unusual happened. No emergencies, no big purchases. But the account still felt tight. Why? Because most of their money was already spoken for. Before the month even started. That's when it changes. You're not choosing how to spend money anymore. You're fulfilling obligations. And obligations don't care how you feel. When both people work full-time, time becomes your biggest constraint. Not money. Time. And when time disappears, you solve problems differently. You don't optimize. You outsource. Food instead of cooking. Services instead of doing. Convenience instead of control. Because you don't have time to think. So you spend. Not because you want to, because it's the easiest option. And this creates a loop. Work more leads to less time. Leads to spend. More leads to need more income. Leads to work more. It feels like forward motion, but it's not. It's a cycle. And cycles are dangerous because they feel like progress. 2 incomes feel safe. That's the belief. More sources, more stability, more protection. But look closer. Your entire system now depends on both. The house, the bills, the lifestyle, the structure. Everything assumes both incomes exist. Remove one, and suddenly everything feels fragile. Daniel thought, we're in a strong position, until he realized, if one income stops, we're exposed. That's not security. That's dependency. Real security is not about earning more. It's about needing less. You don't feel like you're overspending, because you don't feel extreme. You feel normal. And that's the trap. Because your definition of normal changed. You're surrounded by people like you. Dual incomes. Similar careers. Similar lifestyles. So what happens? Standards rise. Quietly. Without discussion. Better homes. Better schools. Better vacations. You don't upgrade because you want to impress. You upgrade because it feels standard. And that's how your life expands. Without conscious choice. Here's the shift most people never make. You didn't become poor. You became locked in. Your life became too expensive to adjust. And that's worse, because when something is flexible, you have control. When it's fixed, you have pressure. And pressure doesn't feel like failure. It feels like responsibility, which is why people stay stuck. Children don't just add expenses. They change the structure. Now things are fixed. Schedules, costs, expectations. Childcare becomes essential. Schooling becomes non-negotiable. Activities become expected. And suddenly, one income isn't just difficult. It's unrealistic. Now both incomes aren't a choice. They're required. That's when the trap fully locks. This is where it gets deeper. Because it's not just financial. It's identity. You see yourself as responsible, successful, doing things right. So when life feels tight, it doesn't make sense. We should be fine. That thought creates tension. And that tension creates denial. Because if everything looks right, but feels wrong, it's easier to ignore it. Then question the structure. Now let's make this real. Not motivational. Practical. Can you survive 6 months on one income? If not, you're not secure. You're dependent. List your fixed costs. Not your coffee. Your obligations. That's your real problem. Delay upgrades. Wait 6 to 12 months. Most needs disappear with time. Remove one major cost. One big decision changes everything. Build margin. Margin is breathing room. Breathing room is freedom. Most people don't feel broke because they earn too little. They feel broke because their life costs too much to maintain. And the hardest part? It doesn't feel like a mistake. It feels like success. So now the real question is this. Where are you in this? Is it the lifestyle? The time pressure? The dependency? Or that quiet feeling? That no matter how much you earn, it never feels like enough? Comment it. But don't just name it. Say what you're going to change. Because this doesn't fix itself. It compounds. And most people don't realize they're trapped until they no longer have the option to step back. If this hit you, subscribe. Because most people don't fail from lack of effort. They fail from not seeing the structure early enough. And now, you've seen it.